Good evening, young friends. Tonight's story is about a monkey named Chatter. Can you guess why he was called Chatter? That's right. Because Chatter never, ever, ever stopped talking. Not when he was eating, not when he was sleeping, not even when he was playing. Well, not even when someone was talking to him. This is the story of the one day Chatter the monkey learned that sometimes the most important thing is to listen. Chatter lived in a beautiful mango grove beside a sparkling river. Every morning, he would wake up and immediately begin talking. Good morning, tree. Good morning, sky. Good morning, river. Good morning, mangoes. Oh, I love mangoes. Did I ever tell you about the 17 mangoes I ate yesterday? Well, actually, it might have been 16 or 18. I'm not entirely sure because I lost count. But they were delicious, and blah, blah, blah. The birds would fly away. The squirrels would hide. Even the butterflies would flutter off to find a quieter branch. But there was one animal who never ran away from Chatter. Her name was Shell. Shell was a tortoise, a very old, very wise, very patient tortoise. She lived under a mango tree and spent her days eating mangoes peacefully and saying almost nothing at all. Chatter and Shell were best friends, though Chatter did most of the talking. Actually, Chatter did all of the talking. That particular morning, Patty, the parrot, landed on the branch above Chatter. Patty was trying to be helpful and said, "Oh, Chatter, good news! The sweetest mangoes in the whole grove are on the—" Chatter, interrupting immediately. Mangoes? Oh, I love mangoes. Let me tell you about mangoes. Mangoes are yellow, or sometimes orange, or sometimes both, and they're sweet and sticky, and one time I ate a mango so big it was bigger than my head. Well, maybe not bigger than my whole head, but definitely bigger than half my head, and I shared it with Shell. Actually, I think Shell had most of it, but I definitely had some, and it was so delicious, and... Patty sighed, gave up, and flew away. Chatter didn't notice. He was still talking about the mango from 3 weeks ago. He talked so much he didn't notice the branch under him starting to bend. And bend. And bend. The branch snapped. Chatter fell into the bushes below. He popped out a moment later, leaves stuck to his head, a twig in his ear. Still talking, Chatter was saying, "And that mango reminded me of another mango, which reminds me of the time I fell out of a tree, which is happening right now, actually. But as I was saying about mangoes..." Shell looked up from her mango, said nothing, went back to eating. Dark clouds began gathering in the sky. The wind started to blow. Peter, the peacock, came running over to Chatter. Peter's voice was urgent. "Chatter, listen, there's a big storm coming. You need to find shelter before..." Chatter replied without even looking up at Peter. "Storms! Oh, I love storms. Well, not love storms, but they're very exciting, aren't they? All that wind and rain. One time, there was a storm and the wind was so strong, it blew all the mangoes off the trees, and I tried to catch them, but they kept falling, and I slipped on one and I fell and..." Peter left to find his shelter. A huge gust of wind blew through the grove. Chatter's tail got caught in the branches above him. He was now hanging upside down, swinging in the wind, like a very talkative pendulum. Chatter, still talking, upside down. "And as I was saying about storms, they're really quite fascinating. All that water coming from the sky, which reminds me of the time I saw a cloud and it looked like a mango, or maybe it looked like Shell. It's hard to remember." It began to rain. Chatter swung back and forth in the rain, upside down, tail caught, talking the entire time. Shell pulled her head into the shell, waited for the storm to pass, said nothing. The storm passed. The sun came out. Chatter untangled his tail and climbed back up into the trees, still chattering away about rain and clouds and that one time he got wet. Chatter, excited. "And now the mangoes will be even juicier because of all that rain, which means I should find the biggest mango and eat it immediately. Oh, look, there's one." High up on the tallest branch was the biggest, ripest, most perfect mango Chatter had ever seen. He climbed up, reached out, grabbed it. This is the best mango I've ever... He slipped. He grabbed the mango. The mango came loose. The mango fell. Boink! Right onto Chatter's head. It got stuck. Like a helmet. A big orange mango helmet. Chatter couldn't see. Chatter's muffled, voice coming through the mango. It's very dark in here. This is unexpected. Mangoes aren't usually this dark. I should probably... He stumbled along the branch. Bumped into a tree trunk. Spun around. Stumbled the other way. Stepped off the branch. Fell into the river. Shell looked up from his spot under the tree. Watched Chatter floating downstream. Mango still on his head. Still talking. Rivers are very wet. I remember the last time I was in a river, it was just like this, except different, and there were fish. I think it's hard to tell with this mango on my head. Shell stood up slowly. Very slowly. Extended her head as much as possible to see better. Because Shell had seen something Chatter hadn't. A crocodile. Swimming in the water. Heading straight toward Chatter. Chatter was floating downstream, mango helmet on his head, completely oblivious, still talking about that one time he almost fell in a river. The crocodile was getting closer. Closer. Its eyes above the water. Its jaws opening slightly. Shell decided that safest option is to duck underwater. Shell took a deep breath, opened his mouth, and said, "Chatter, duck!" Chatter, cheerful from inside the mango. "Duck? Where? I love ducks. One time I saw a duck and it had the most wonderful webbed feet, and it went quack, quack, and it was swimming just like I'm swimming now." The crocodile was 3 feet away now. 2 feet now. Shell shouted louder, more urgent, "Chatter, duck!" Chatter, still oblivious. "Yes, yes, I heard you. Next time I meet them, I want to ask if they like mangoes." 1 foot away. The crocodile's jaws opened wide. "Pull your head underwater, you fool!" Chatter finally grasped the instruction and urgency from Shell and ducked underwater. The crocodile's jaws snapped shut, right on the mango. The mango popped off Chatter's head and into the crocodile's mouth. The crocodile, very confused about catching a mango instead of a monkey, swam away downstream, chewing thoughtfully. Chatter surfaced, gasping for air. Mango gone. Looked at the crocodile receding with the mango in its mouth, and fell silent for the first time in his life. Chatter swam to the riverbank. Climbed out, sat down next to Shell, the sun setting over the mango grove. Shell took a small bite of the mango in her hand, chewed peacefully. Chatter opened his mouth to speak, closed it, opened it again, closed it, thought very hard about what to say, and finally said, "Thank you, Shell." "You're welcome, Chatter." They sat together, watching the sunset, listening to the river, listening to the birds, listening to the wind in the mango trees. It was the quietest Chatter had been in his entire life. Chatter finally found his voice. "You know, Shell, I've been thinking about..." Shell turned his head slowly, looked at Chatter, said nothing, just looked. That look had a lot of meaning, and Chatter seemed to understand, at least for now. And so, Chatter the monkey learned that sometimes the most important words are the ones you don't say. And the most important thing you can do is listen. Because Shell saved Chatter's life with just a few words. And those few words had more meaning than all the words that Chatter said the whole day. So, hopefully from tomorrow, Chatter will talk less and listen more. Good night, young friends. Sweet dreams.